It was supposed to be just another business dinner for Ethan Blake, a 32-year-old CEO known for his calm, calculating demeanor and a heart locked behind glass walls. He was successful, handsome, and feared in boardrooms, but alone. His assistant had begged him to attend the blind date his sister arranged, saying it might humanize him. Ethan had no expectations. He pictured yet another woman dressed to impress, chasing status, ready to say anything to become Mrs. Blake. But when he entered the small restaurant on the corner of Maple Street, his confident stride faltered. Sitting at the far table, clutching a worn purse and nervously biting her lip, was Lila Carter, wearing a faded dress, shoes that had clearly seen better days, and a gentle smile that trembled at the corners. She looked out of place among the polished marble tables and soft jazz. Yet there was something disarmingly sincere about her. Ethan approached. "Lila," he asked, his tone steady but curious. She stood up quickly, knocking over her water glass in the process. "Oh, yes, sorry, these tables are too close," she said, her cheeks burning. He chuckled softly, handing her a napkin. "No harm done." Lila tried to hide her embarrassment, unaware that in that moment, her awkwardness, her realness, she had already captured something rare in Ethan. As dinner went on, Ethan noticed details. Her hands bore faint calluses. Her nails weren't polished. The simple silver locket she wore was old, maybe sentimental. And when she spoke, it wasn't about herself, but about things she loved, reading to kids at the shelter, sketching flowers in the park, taking care of her younger brother after their parents passed. "So, what do you do?" Ethan asked. "I work part-time at a bookstore," she said, glancing down. "It's not much, but I love being around stories. They make the hard days a little easier." He nodded slowly. "And your hard days, are they often?" She hesitated. "More than I'd like, but complaining doesn't help, right?" She gave a small, tired laugh. "I just keep going." That quiet strength hit Ethan harder than any rehearsed charm ever could. He'd met people who had everything, and still wanted more. But here was someone who had almost nothing and still gave everything she could. When the bill came, she instinctively reached for her purse. Ethan stopped her gently. "Please," he said, "I've got it." She looked torn. "I don't want you to think I came for a free meal. I almost didn't come at all. My friend set this up. She said it might be good to meet someone new, but... Lila looked up, her eyes shining with quiet honesty. "People like you don't usually see people like me." Ethan's chest tightened. "Maybe people like me should start trying harder." The next morning, Ethan couldn't focus on work. Her words lingered. That night, he found himself driving to the small bookstore she'd mentioned. He walked in quietly, and there she was, rearranging books, humming softly, unaware that someone was watching her like she was a miracle. When she finally noticed him, her eyes widened. "Mr. Blake, Ethan, what are you doing here? I had to know if you were real," he said with a small smile. "I wasn't sure I hadn't imagined you." She blinked, confused and flustered. I'm very real. Just not very exciting." "On the contrary," he said. "You're the most real person I've met in a long time." Over the next few weeks, Ethan found excuses to drop by. Sometimes with coffee, sometimes just to talk. They laughed more each time. She made him feel human again, something success had stolen long ago. But not everyone was pleased. When word spread that the powerful CEO was spending time with a poor girl from the bookstore, whispers followed. Ethan's board members questioned his judgment. Tabloids spun stories, painting Lila as a gold digger. Lila, mortified, tried to pull away. "I can't be the reason your company's name gets dragged," she said, tears in her eyes. "They're calling me things I'm not. You don't need this kind of scandal." Ethan took her hands, his eyes firm. "Lila, let them talk. I built an empire from nothing, but you taught me something I couldn't buy, peace. And I'm not giving that up." Still, challenges came. Investors threatened to back out. Employees whispered. Lila's brother fell ill, and she began working double shifts to afford his treatment. Ethan offered help, but she refused. "I can't take your money," she said. "I need to know I can stand on my own." So he did something different. He stayed. He visited the hospital, read bedtime stories to her brother, brought soup instead of checks. Slowly, she began to understand. His help wasn't about pity, it was about love. Months later, Lila stood in the same restaurant where they first met, this time wearing a simple but elegant blue dress Ethan had chosen for her birthday. She looked radiant, not because of the dress, but because she finally believed she was worthy of the life unfolding before her. Ethan raised a glass. "You once told me people like me don't see people like you," he said softly. "You were wrong. You're all I see now." Tears welled in her eyes. "And you're all I ever wanted, but never dared to hope for." Their story became a quiet legend, a CEO and a bookstore girl who defied expectations, not with glamour or wealth, but with faith, kindness, and love that refused to bend to the world's judgments. Years later, when they opened a community library in her name, people asked Ethan why he did it. He smiled and said, "Because once, she arrived at a blind date looking like she had nothing, but that night, I realized she had everything I'd ever been searching for."